Hey, what's up, agency owners, business owners? Black Friday, Cyber Monday is coming soon. And as part of our Cloudways Prepathon, our goal is to make sure that your Black Friday and Cyber Monday is absolutely magical. We want you to have an experience for your clients, clients, and for yourself, where you're able to create amazing results. And today we're hanging out on a really cool panel. We've got a couple of amazing Cloudways clients, agency owners hanging out with us today. I'm going to introduce them here in a second, but we're going to be talking about today how digital businesses are gearing up for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Alex and Jaime, man, you guys ready to get going on this?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, I'm going to introduce Alex first. Alex is the founder of Green Tree Media. He's successfully scaled to a six-figure business with no employees and a co-founder of Grow with Meerkat, where we promote team lancing as a way of helping their clients achieve the best possible output for their projects. They can leverage their network of talent with experts in every area of digital marketing. Alex, dude, great to have you on the program today.
Yeah, hey, thanks for the opportunity, man. I'm happy to be here. I'm pumped.
And up next, we've got Jaime Davis of Ddn, which is Design, Develop, Now. And within 3 years, he's grown to a six-figure business with over 100 clients around digital marketing, mobile app development, and lots of cool stuff. So, Jaime, welcome to the program, man. Oh, you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. Yep. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, good to have you here with us. So if you guys are hanging out with us on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter today, we'd love to hear from you in the comments. So if you have questions for our guests, they are agency owners. They've got lots and lots of clients. They're doing lots of cool stuff on the web. If you got questions for them about their agency, about their experience with Cloudways, we'd love to hear you ask those questions in comments over the course of today's program. So as we are in this session is about gearing up, right? How digital businesses are gearing up for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I guess to kind of open the floor here today, I'm curious, guys, what you're doing this year for Black Friday, Cyber Monday 2021, either for your clients or for your agency. Alex, maybe we'll start with you, man. How have you guys been dealing with this year?
Yeah, that's a great question. So our agency, we're not doing a lot for us. We're more focused on our clients. And the big thing, especially these days, is trust and credibility. So we're really kind of hammering our clients to, get those reviews, especially if they've been able to help people. I read a study that was just from about this time last year, 2020, from Qualtrics that said, let me pull up the stats here. It said 91% of 18 to 34-year-olds trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations. And I know I do that too. When I buy online, I go to the reviews first. So we're really trying to get our customers to build those reviews. And I think it's a little awkward for customers to ask for that. They're a little hesitant to ask for the reviews, but it's so important to businesses, I feel like.
So if a business has a Cyber Monday or Black Friday deal or promotion coming up, and they're either selling a specific offer or they have specific products that are on sale or they're discounted or whatever, we want to make sure that we have really good reviews in those pages. And you mentioned that thing, right? It's an awkward thing to ask for. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I mean, I know a lot of people they feel weird about it, right? Going to somebody and be like, hey, can you review my stuff, right?
Yeah.
But how do you help your clients get these reviews? Is it something that you're doing on behalf of them or helping them kind of come up with a strategy for this stuff?
Well, anybody who knows me knows that I'm a huge fan of automation. If I could automate every aspect of my life, I probably would. So I encourage all the clients to really build that into their automation flow. So, after you complete that sale and you have that follow-up email with your clients, it's okay to put a thing in there saying, hey, if you dug our product or it made your life easier or you liked it, it would make our week if you just left a review, even just a couple sentences, because really all you're looking for is that 5-star. Even if they only leave one sentence that says, hey, it was great, it's better than nothing. If you can get the clients and maybe kind of prompt them to say, hey, what were the pain points that you experienced and how did this help? That goes even further in the reviews, because people will read those reviews and kind of resonate with that and say, yeah, I'm experiencing that too. And this helped that person. And you can start to build that trust and reliability there.
That's awesome. Jaime, I'm going to go to you next, man, on this. What's going on in your ecoverse for Black Friday, Cyber Monday? You got over 100 clients. Are they thinking about this? Are you guys thinking about this?
Yeah, good question. So not so much on the Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals, but we do have several consultations lined up right now with some of our retail clients where they're selling online, and we're trying to get them to get into the habit, because a lot of these are new companies, new businesses starting up from the the pandemic. So we've crafted their initial strategy in terms of, having offers around these types of, days of the year. So it's just, we're actually in that stage now where we're just getting them into that fold, right? Getting them into having those offers on a recurring basis, kind of like what Alex was saying, getting the automations in place, the emails, the SMS, the different areas to touch their customers.
Yeah,
So
man, that's awesome. So getting some automation, getting some email going. I mean, what I could say is this, is if you're a business out there that's not yet, doesn't have a Black Friday or Cyber Monday promotion going on yet, I mean, it might be getting towards like the late part of jumping in on this, right? I mean, we're just like, we're about a week away from Black Friday, and maybe if you haven't done anything at this point, maybe we aim for Cyber Monday, right? Get you an extra 3 days on this. But I also don't think it is. I don't think it's ever too late to take advantage of these days that the internet and marketers create all of this inertia and momentum of, throwing an offer or throwing a deal out there, even if it feels like the last minute. Sometimes it's just good to get something out there and feel like, oh wow, we actually did that for the first time, right? We went after a Cyber Monday offer this year. I mean, one of the trainings I recently did for agencies in our community was how to put together an end of year offer. And Black Friday and Cyber Monday have been huge for us in our agency and our coaching and training businesses, because people are just out there. They're looking for something to buy. They're looking for deals. They're aware that they might save some money. And if you have customers that have been thinking about it for a while, you might want to throw something out there and make it happen. So I don't think it's too late. Although I'm saying that, and Alex and Jaime's clients are gonna be calling today, being like, "Hey, we need to get that new landing page up by next week, right?"
Yep.
Right. Well, you know what? Go ahead, Jaime. Sorry, man.
No, you go ahead. You started first.
I was just going to say, I think you're 100% right, especially with technology today. The barrier to entry to get these things up, immediately to roll with the punches is just so low, especially if you're on a platform like WordPress or any of these ones where, it's as simple as installing a plugin and kind of getting it out there and sharing it on your social media. It's never too late. I mean, there's a benefit to doing it beforehand and kind of building that momentum and that excitement around the event. But I agree, man. Something's better than nothing. Just get it out there. And if nothing else, it gives you some easy content to kind of just put out there into the world for your brand.
Jaime, you were going to jump in there with something else too?
Yep. Yeah, I was just saying that the barrier to entry is very, very, very is very easy, because, I mean, look at if you just have an e-commerce website and you have, let's say, 5,000 subscribers on your email list, and you're 2 weeks away from these specials, and you're, let's say, as a business, you've kind of put off this type of strategy. Within just a matter of days, with good copy, good content, you could literally put out a strategic offer that'll literally get you conversions during this time, and it's not very difficult, really. So it's something that can be done.
We were on a panel yesterday, and Sean from Coded Commerce, after the panel, of course, right? He was like, "Oh yeah, there was this one thing that I was going to talk about with Cloudways. It's so awesome, right?" And it was a really interesting idea, and I'm interested to get your both of your take on it, right? So we know within Cloudways, the ability for us to easily, clone and replicate a site is basically like, we can click a couple buttons and then boom, like we've cloned the entire website. And so something that he does with his clients is he'll actually take their website, they'll clone it, launch the same website right on like a subdomain, and then they will use that website. They'll go through and they'll change offers, they'll change the funnel for specific, whether it's coming up with testing a price, testing entirely new copy on the entire website, right? And they'll basically use that fully functional site that's a replica of their core site, and they'll drive paid ads to it. They'll drive Google ads to it, right? They'll use it for specific regions to pull up that website. And I thought that was a kind of a cool idea of using Cloudways for something around Black Friday and Cyber Monday, right? Being able to come up with a completely new offer, be able to have a website that you could essentially switch over to for a day or two, and then go back to your normal retail site without feeling like, oh man, we got to like coordinate all of these changes and updates to our website over a few days. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, Jamie, I'll let you tackle this one first.
No, I think it's a great idea. If you it's a very quick. So was the question more around the Cloudways platform or just the idea in general? Because the way I was
We
seeing,
can go with both, Jamie.
okay, because the staging features that you have in Cloudways, can allow you to kind of test these. If you have like a new feature, a new option, you can use that feature to actually test before you actually roll those out to production. But from what you described as far as copying the entire website, putting it under a subdomain, and then setting out the offers, I think that's definitely an easy way to do like an A/B test, or using all of your content again and creating an offer.
Yeah, Alex, any ideas or thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I think that's a cool idea. Traditionally, I just kind of have been going the route of duplicating pages and then kind of turning one off and one on. My only, I guess, thought or I don't want to say concern, but the question that I would have is, if you're doing that with a different subdomain, how is that affecting maybe some of the stats that you're collecting? You know what I mean? In comparison, if it's on the same website, maybe it's a little easier to do that A/B testing. But I do like that idea because I think that's a great way, a very quick way to, roll something out almost immediately with different changes. And like you said, flip it off, flip it on. And I think it would make life easy. That's for sure.
Yeah, so we were jamming around. I don't know. Maybe we'll have Sean come back and do a case study for us on that. But on the topic of Cloudways, right? I know you guys are both clients in the platform, and I'm kind of curious, what was one of the things that kind of made you decide that Cloudways was a platform that you were going to start to use and move much of your business over? I mean, obviously, when we think about Black Friday and Cyber Monday, we're thinking about, hey, we want our clients to be on something that's stable, that's got a great performance, we've got the support we need. But I'm kind of curious more specifically, like what made you guys decide to jump in with Cloudways? And maybe we'll start with you, Alex.
Yeah, so for me, I mean, performance is obviously key. We've tried a couple different hosts. And the performance on SiteGround or on Cloudways compared to SiteGround, which is what we were using before, it just blows it away. And so that was big for us. But the other thing was the control that we had over the servers and how easy it was for us to get in there, quickly spin up a new instance of whether it be a server or an application. And then once we really started digging in, the API was a game changer. My background is in actually coding. And so I like to create new things. And so with the API, we were able to create a system to further automate some of the stuff we were doing before, where, when a new lead comes in, we have a system in place where once we approve it via the API, we can spin up a new server, create a instance of WordPress on there, automatically email those credentials to, one of our developers that may be working on it. And the whole thing really saves us time because we don't have to worry about that. It's really hands off for us. And then we can kind of come in and take it from there and work with our developers and stuff. So the API and the performance were two huge things for us that just made it a no-brainer. I mean, it's night and day difference.
So let me just get this straight. You get a lead in, and you're already creating the site and basically creating the environment for your team then to go in and deliver value. So you've got, you've got a prospect that's coming in and boom, like you've got a development environment instantly set up from them. I mean, are you starting from a specific, like starting template or framework that your agency has kind of customized and built over time?
Yeah, so we have a theme that we really like to use for WordPress and some core plugins that we really like to use that we find helpful on pretty much all websites that we're doing. And we kind of use that as a kind of a building block or a blueprint. So what happens is the lead comes in, we kind of further vet it. If it's going to move forward, we kind of have a little thing where we just hit a button and then it will take the information from the client, their website, their domain, and it will spin up a new instance of a server on Cloudways for us, and then make a copy of our blueprint site, and then email those credentials over to our developer and to us. And so we're ready to go. So it removes the bottleneck of kind of the human error, which is us, right? Trying to find time to, okay, I got to spin up this new server. We have to install WordPress. We have to install the theme and the plugins that we like, so it's saving us a good amount of time per site. And then now you start to scale that for multiple sites over, weeks and months and over the year. And it makes a pretty good difference.
I kind of want to just be a lead of your agency so I could experience this, man, to be honest, Alex.
Yeah, I have to show you sometimes. It's cool. When I talk about automating my life, man, I love stuff like that. I love things that allow me to connect different things and then, just make life easier.
One of the coolest things, man, because we started using Cloudways, and then it was like, man, this makes my life a lot easier, right? And in the UI, a lot of time, like it's so simple and intuitive. And then I was like, man, I wonder if there's ways for us to do, more crazy things with this, right? So simple and intuitive. And then I just like the API, like all the different webhooks and stuff that you can do. I was like, oh, here's where we can get crazy with stuff. So to hear that you're using that to save time in your agency automations, in agency workflows is something that I think we're going to come back to, and I want to learn a little bit more about that today. I want to go to Jaime on this one.
Yep.
What was the thing that made you decide that you wanted to start moving some stuff over to Cloudways?
Sure. So I would say that there was a lack of transparency, a lack of simplicity. So when in the beginning, we were using SiteGround, we were using Vultr, we were using these different solutions, and to speak to Alex's point, the UI, the whole entire user experience is completely different. With Vultr, yes, you get like a full server, you can do everything, but you have no application aware details in terms of logs, in terms of you have no visibility into, you don't want to have to go into SSH and all these different things for every little change that you need to do, right? So I guess long story short, without getting too technical, I just felt that, well, and I know that Cloudways actually has the right balance of control and convenience and the right amount of complexity, not too complicated, not too simple. And you know what you're getting, right? So whereas like SiteGround is similar to GoDaddy, where they'll tell you that, oh, you can have this much traffic, or you can have a certain number of users and so on, but you don't actually know what type of server you're getting, how much memory. So it's finding that right balance between managing the server, having the right security, and then having a roadmap. Like if you're just starting out as a brand new agency, you can start with this and grow to a more automated solution, as what Alex mentioned, where you can build in APIs, build in your own systems and your own front end to basically create different, to improve the onboarding experience for new clients and websites, right? So as far as our experience so far, we've had no issues whatsoever, and it's definitely been the way to go.
So your prior hosts, and I'll try not to throw anybody under the bus today, right? Your prior hosts, maybe they lacked transparency and that simplicity. So it was kind of like they either lacked transparency, you weren't getting the information you needed, or everything had to be done through the command line, and
exactly.
And you weren't able to get what you needed there.
Yeah, and I've got one more point real quick, if I can jump in real quick to talk about that, because as a business of one, the other thing that I really like about Cloudways is the ability to, if I'm hosting, a client website, or I'm building it through Cloudways, and then, later the client decides, hey, I want to create my own Cloudways account, and now I've got this account. It's easy for us to then, drop that application from our server over onto theirs. Whereas, on any of the prior hosts or the other hosts, it requires, pulling a whole copy of the backup of the website, uploading it to the other one, just all the other steps that go with that, moving the database, or unless you're using a plugin or something like that. But the ability to just transfer it to a different server makes life easier. It's just another way that life is just easier.
And that's I think you hit it right on the head. And I think another thing that that we've also experienced is not just the ability to move servers, but just in terms of like if you have like some of the known systems and the known tools out there like WP Rocket. um I won't go into the technical, I'm sorry. But some of those, a lot of the known industry leading solutions out there for optimizations, for server management, are fully aware of Cloudways, and it's so you feel like you're always in a native environment, and that's a big deal. So that's all I wanted to mention.
And Jaime, I want to make sure, man, you don't need to feel bad about getting technical. You might overwhelm my my non-technical brain, but I'm sure there's lots of our audience out there that's tuning in today that probably is right there with you in terms of thinking about these things for their client sites. I mean, I know we got a lot of agency owners watching these webcasts. They're thinking about how can I get better results for my client. I know, Alex, earlier you brought up performance, and performance is something that I hear about all the time from agencies in general, but pleasantly, when I'm talking to agencies that are on Cloudways, that they mention that performance on Cloudways is just outstanding. So I'm curious, is it something that you feel just like some peace of mind around, knowing that your client sites are loading fast, they're working really well, or do you hear that from your clients? Do you get feedback of like, oh man, this is solid, this is super fast?
Yeah. So a lot of it is, I mean, like with anything, a lot of times when you get feedback, it's usually because they've experienced something negative, where it's, hey, my site's just loading slow on mobile, or hey, we're doing this big promotion and we just shot this out to all of our people, and I noticed that the site's loading slow. Can it handle this traffic? Where's it bottlenecking? And I've done some comparisons with some other big name hosts. Case studies for my clients and said, hey, and that's the other nice thing about Cloudways is I can say, hey, here's your site. We're going to install the Cloudways migration plugin, and we're just going to spin up an instance on our server. So you have two sites, your live one and this one on Cloudways, that you can compare. You can run your own speed test. We'll do it for you, and we'll tell you what it means, but you can see it for yourself. And when they look at the numbers, identical sites, but they're returning like, maybe like an 85% or an 80% on GT metrics on their host. And then on Cloudways, it's a 91 or a 93 with an identical site with nothing changed plugin wise or content wise, and then you say, hey, we can move it over and then start optimizing it. Then you kind of start to see the wheels turning in the client's head that says, okay, this is going to make a big difference for us. This is going to be the speed that we need. And especially on Black Friday and Cyber Monday, where traffic, is coming in and load time is important, where people, they're not going to hang around on pages waiting for your offer because everybody's got an offer on Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
And we've definitely done a lot of sessions this week talking about conversions and just even small improvements, like 10% improvements to load time can have a profound impact. I don't know, maybe you're giving some other hosts the benefit of the doubt. I mean, 80s on GT metrics. I've definitely seen some clients we pulled over from other hosts or Cloudways where it was not even in the 80s, man. It was way below that, but I commend you for giving them credit. For sure. Jaime, how do your clients respond to performance? I mean, is it something that comes up in conversations with your clients as kind of a value add thing, or do you kind of hear them actually validate this as something that's at the top of their mind?
Yeah, definitely something that's value added in our service offering. However, what we've been seeing over the last 2 years, I won't throw the company under the bus, but they it's a daddy company. um
Uh-oh.
but anyways, they've just been I mean, a lot of these other vendors, not even just them, but other companies have been having a lot of issues with security breaches. So we get clients sometimes that are coming to us saying, hey, our site's getting hacked or getting some DNS changes within the actual infrastructure platform itself. So a lot of these other providers, many other providers, are not even fully secure. So that's a big problem. Just to piggyback. So I know we were talking more like performance, but I think this is important as well in terms of security, and that's and this is just for the hosting environment itself. we've been seeing a lot of that. So I think that ties in well.
Yeah, so I mean, on the security topic, I mean, people are thinking about this going into the next few weeks if they're going to have more traffic, more demand. Thinking about, people are also not maybe paying as much attention to their sites or their admins or their WordPress and plugin updates as we go into the holidays. People are taking vacations. Maybe they're not checking their email as often. What are some of the things that you guys are doing to help out your business owners and your clients around security? Do you just have kind of a standard SOP that you do all the time? Is it something that you're constantly looking at for your clients?
Yeah, so that's definitely important. Something that we monitor from an application perspective, as well as multiple layers of monitoring. So we do use third-party monitoring as well. So to answer your question, yes. So we do the application monitoring as well as the server uptime monitoring. Then we also have different SOPs that require manual reviews and checks on a frequent interval to make sure everything's up and running.
Awesome. And Alex, how you guys tackling that topic?
Yeah, I mean, security is always important, especially these days. And it's funny because, sometimes you'll talk to a client and they'll say, so can you guarantee that, my site's not going to be compromised or this is going to happen? And I'm like, the Pentagon is getting hacked. The FBI is getting hacked. Like, we're going to do our best for you, but it's nice to have these solutions in place that really make our life a little bit easier. Cloudways does have a great amount of security built in, but then ultimately, your website is only secure as its weakest link. And so, there's a little bit of training the clients on some of that stuff. We do some additional hardening of the WordPress install because, by default, WordPress is decent, but there's certain things that it just kind of leaves open. For brute force attacks and people who don't know any better maybe set up their admin user with the username admin or things like that. So we do a little bit.
Alex, that's a bad idea.
Right? Yeah.
Hold on, right? I'll be right back, guys. I'm just kidding.
Gotta log into some sites here.
You use the term hardening of the site. So, I mean, obviously changing a username is a good thing. Any other low-hanging fruit for people out there that might not have an agency like you that are looking after their store? They're maybe thinking to themselves, oh, crap, these guys just brought up security, right? What can I do to improve that?
Yeah, great question. So there's some security plugins out there. There's different ones. One that I really like now, and I'm not getting paid to say this, is Shield Security Pro. It's a free one. They've got a pro version too. But there's a lot of stuff you can do in the free version that can really harden your WordPress install. Like you can disable the XML RPC file, which is basically a legacy system within WordPress that allowed it's been replaced by their API, the WordPress API, but it's still around. And things like Jetpack were using it for a while. I'm not sure if Jetpack still uses it, but it allows things to happen behind the scenes, like for people to leave comments without actually commenting on or remote login and stuff like that. And that's one of the big targets that happens on WordPress websites, is that they will target these systems that are in place, and then they'll repeatedly try to log in until they either log in or exhaust the server resources. Something else you can do is hide the WordPress login page. That way, for these bots and things that know, WordPress login page is always the same on a default WordPress install, and they'll go in and they'll try to just keep logging it in with a brute force attack. You can change that URL to kind of hide that. So just little things like that kind of make your site less of a target, because it's more of a pain to try to hack your website. It just makes it less of an easy target, I guess, is the best way.
Something as we're thinking about going into this holiday season and even next year, I'm kind of curious to learn a little bit more about how Cloudways helps your agency, both the product, but also the team. I know, Alex, you run a pretty lean operation in terms of team members and things like that. But I'm just kind of curious, besides the things we've talked about today around like performance and security and that awesome API workflow, I'm just kind of curious about how you've been able to leverage the platform to grow and improve your agency in terms of maybe it's helped you be more scalable, or just what are some of those things that it's helped you out with?
Yeah, so there's two big things that come to mind. One is obviously the scalability. It's easier to scale on Cloudways. When you're able to move sites is easy. When you're able to spin things up, new instances up very easy. And but the other thing with that is, and I forgot where I was going with the second thing. But the scalability for sure. When you say that, I'm running a lean business, I'm a business of one. So I don't know if it gets any more lean than that. But being able to automate things and do things very quickly is just huge in my business, because I only have so many hours in the day. And, I'm a newer dad. My son is, 17 months old, and I'm doing the stay-at-home dad thing while still trying to run my business. And so time is, super important. So anything I can do that's going to maximize my output on my time is just going to be huge. And just Cloudways just makes it easy with the tools and stuff they have in place, and the customer service they offer. I think that was the second thing I was going to go to. I've got on chats with the customer service just to ask questions about things, not because something wasn't working or I needed to understand it more. It's, hey, I've got an idea and I want to do something that I think is going to make my life easier. Can I do this with the API? Or where in the dashboard would I find this? Because I know you offer it, but I'm just not sure where it is. And the support has knocked it out of the park every time. I mean, they usually respond within minutes. And they're very detailed and super helpful. And if I have follow-up questions, it's not like, sometimes you hop on a chat and you ask a question and 5 minutes later, they're like, hey, I'm looking into this, and then you just kind of feel like maybe they're helping 14 other people at the same time. I don't get that with Cloudways. With Cloudways, I feel like I'm having a conversation with somebody and they're answering my questions.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And I heard your kiddo a little bit earlier, and I think any of us parents, I got a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old. Mine aren't as quiet as yours, right? When they want to let you know they're around, right? They let you know that they're around. But congrats on being a new parent. And a lot of times too, I mean, one of the topics I love talking to agency owners about is, how to make more money and grow your business. But there's this idea of just freeing up your time and achieving more peace of mind. And as a new parent, those are probably two things that might compete a little bit more for your attention than just, hey, I'm going to make more money, or I'm going to be, 5% more profitable with such and such pricing plan, right? Like being able to get your time back and have that peace of mind, I think is a huge value add. And I'm hearing that from you. I mean, obviously big priority with the agency of one. So anybody else out there that's running that type of business obviously can kind of think about that, and maybe they'll contact you afterwards and ask for your some of your API automations or something like that are saving you tons of time. So thinking about you, Jaime, I mean, what are some things right now that are helping your agency with Cloudways? What are some areas that are making it work for you? Jaime, I'm not sure if we... Yep, I can hear you. It looks like you're a little laggy. You still with us, man?
Yep. I think, yep. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so things that has helped us, I think it just ties back to the same thing, ease of use, the ability, to scale. Our SOPs are built around, the things that matter. And as far as if you're spinning up a new instance for a client and you want those native integrations, you want to be able to set up SMTP servers on the fly right away. You want to be able to have all these things ready to go without having to go through all these different hoops, having to have third-party subscriptions for email, for security, for all these different things, when it's all there within the Cloudways platform, right? So I think that's basically it. And I guess and sorry, just just to piggyback again off Alex. So yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from. I'm a father of 4.
Nice, man.
So
I might have to
I do have a
get
third.
some tips from you.
Next week, guys, we're running a session on how to be a parent as a web agency owner, right? That's that's next week's session.
Yeah,
exactly
I'll be
right.
on that panel all day.
Exactly. So it's having the freedom and the time and the ability to balance that out. I have a 13, 11, 8, and 3-year-old. So you can imagine, all the different spectrums. But then it's because the last thing you want is to be knee deep in server code or, trying to figure out all these different things when you have a suite of products all built within Cloudways, and then you have that support team. If you run into any issues whatsoever, we in the beginning, we had some issues as some bumps as we were getting used to the platform, and we reached out to support. Flawless, no issues whatsoever there. And to me, it seems too good to be true, but it is.
Well, I know a lot of people put a lot of work into make that experience too good to be true. So there's a pretty good, awesome team making that happen. And Jaime, as you started listing out how many kids you have and the age, my heart rate started increasing, man. So I don't know how you do it. I don't know. I got 2, man, and it's a full house, and 4 just seems to be like
Yeah,
a new
it's
level.
yeah, and that's the thing. So I was in my home office earlier in the room, and that's why I kind of moved into the garage area here. So that's why you see the background. But anyways, go ahead.
We were joking earlier that Jamie's got the treadmill or the bike or whatever that is. He's got the punching bag, right? So now the story is becoming a little bit more clear for me, Jaime. You got 4
Exactly.
kids. You got a web agency business. So sometimes things get a little stressful, right?
Yep.
You gotta let it out on that bag back there, man.
Exactly.
So it's interesting because I was one of the stories I like to tell people about, like my own experience on Cloudways was one of our sites is a complex membership site, and it's got a lot of it's like every single time a page loads, it's pulling a lot from the database. Every page is essentially dynamic, right? Because every user has their own profile. They have their own like friends within the portal. There's like live feed updates. I mean, all the stuff that like makes people like get kind of stressed out when it comes to like a WordPress site, how many different interactions that are going on with the database. And we had kind of a boost in our business, right? Things were going good. And I was out like on a Friday night or whatever. And all of a sudden I started getting these, notifications that basically, our CPU, we're running out of CPU and before Cloudways, I'd have to call. We had this guy. He's one of my best friends named Eric in the office. Eric was our sysadmin. Eric was like the server dude, right? And so Eric would always get a call on Friday at 10 p.m. or whatever, right? Christmas Eve, like, hey man, the websites are down, right? And then Eric had to go like spend 12 hours like figuring stuff out. And instead of calling Eric, right, I just pulled up the admin and I just dragged the slider. We got an AWS server. I just scaled it up to an Excel or whatever, and it popped our hosting bill a little bit up, but I literally dragged the slider, hit deploy or whatever, and 15 minutes later, our server, we had twice as much CPU space, and all of a sudden everything stabilized and we felt good. It was like wow, that was easy. Like I just did that from my phone, when I was out with family and friends, and I didn't have to, call a sysadmin. I didn't have to even, get on support chat, right? I just was able to do that without doing that. And so I love those kind of stories and workflows. What's that, Alex?
I was gonna say, I feel that in my spirit because there's been more than one occasion. I'm on vacation or something, with my previous host, and a site's undergoing some type of brute force attack or something, and the server just decides it's going to lock up or crash. And then, I'm on vacation. I got to leave wherever I am with my family, go to another room or leave the beach and then go back to, the house. And now I got to troubleshoot this for an hour. So not having to deal with that on Cloudways has been noticeable by my family, I think, too. So.
That's awesome. I mean, maybe if you do have to do something, you can do it from the comfort of your phone while you're on the beach, drinking the fruity cocktail. Oh, I gotta, change a server setting here. Okay, I'm good. I'm back to normal here. So, I'm kind of curious, guys. Every agency deals with hosting a little bit differently in their business, and I do a lot of consulting and coaching around this topic, and I don't think there is one right answer for this question. It's kind of what works for you. Some people love owning the hosting relationship. Other agencies have maybe some PTSD around this. They're like, I don't want to touch it. I don't want to touch it. Client's got to go direct, right? So I'm curious, reaching you, man. How do you actually handle this as part of your business model? Is it something that you bundle up? Is it something that you're reselling? Are you asking your clients to go direct? How are you supporting your clients in terms of your business model as an agency?
So for us, for DDN, what we've noticed is we have a mix of different options, right? So we tend to go more for like a retainer model where we include the hosting services inside of the management and maintenance, right? And it's also showing them that value and why that's important. But in certain industries, more regulated industries, uh, infrastructure needs to be within their control, and in those cases, that's where we'll only charge for maintenance, right? Not the hosting. So we'll either bundle it in depending on the type of client, depending on the stage of their business, or if they're in that space that requires them to have a certain regulation on their infrastructure systems, right? So yeah, I think that answers that.
Yeah, I agree with Jamie 100%. And we kind of do something similar where if they need, certain like regulatory, oversight on their server or whatever, if they have to have a certain level of encryption or whatever, to where maybe it's more than we want to deal with, we'll have them go direct, and then we'll just help support it. But hosting, yeah, it's a great source of recurring income. And so what we like to do is we offer it. And if clients say, well, hey, I've already got my hosting, we say, okay, that's fine. You can host anywhere, and we'll deploy your site where your host is. And we'll even analyze it for them, because I can't tell you how many times people say, well, we've got hosting with, such and such host, and we paid for 5 years, and then we go in there and they're still on PHP 5.6 or something. Their host just never updated them because they never asked, because they didn't know. So we'll kind of do an audit, but for smaller sites, like templated sites where people say, hey, I just need, kind of on our smallest package, since it is a smaller project, a lot of times we kind of include hosting with it. So we say, hey, you'll get the smaller website that you need, and it's going to include the hosting, it's going to include our security package, and then we'll bundle that all in. And we just, if they say, I really don't want to host there, like I've got my own hosting, then that's fine. But we kind of just package that together with our smallest. And then with our larger, more custom builds, we say, hey, by the way, we also offer hosting, because it's just a good source of recurring income, especially when you're on Cloudways, and they make your life a little easier to do it. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you mentioned that magic phrase, recurring income, recurring revenue. I think as agency owners, it can be hard sometimes when you're thinking about predictability around your business, when you're thinking about how do you, what's your income going to look like in 2 or 3 months from now if you're all project based. So, being able to offer some retainers, I think hosting has been, has always and will continue to be a fantastic way to make that happen for your clients, and by offering some peace of mind. So how do you, on top of the hosting, you mentioned some of this, Jamie, a little bit of having that retainer and some of those management fees included in there. So what are you finding is a great way for you to add some additional value and services to that monthly? I mean, I hear you say, management or support, right? So what are the things that you're doing for your clients on an ongoing basis, Jamie?
Well, management in terms of not just maintaining the plugins and making sure the site's fully up to date, but also protected. Making sure the search console usability, all the different areas that are covered, as far as because that's going to affect your SEO, your ranking. Also, we'll include a certain number of time towards edits, changes depending on the client, if that's necessary or not. And just availability for support. So we're available if they have any issues, questions. I think that's how we cover that.
Very cool. That's awesome. Got a couple more questions for us today, and we're gonna start to wrap up here. Sorry, Alex. How do you guys handle that?
Yeah. So kind of the same thing Jamie touched on. One of the things that we do, though, is if I would say 90% of our clients want the ability to edit websites themselves. So we don't necessarily charge maintenance fees unless they say, hey, we don't want to deal with it. We just want to send you, the changes, and then we'll set up something with them where there is that, kind of monthly retainer. But on the flip side, where we make a good amount of our recurring income is on the hosting or the security and reliability package is what we call it. And that's going in and hardening, the WordPress install, but also making sure the core is up to date, the WordPress core, the plugins, the theme, all that stuff is up to date. Because that's one of the most common ways WordPress sites are compromised these days is outdated, plugins or themes, files, and stuff like that. So we still kind of put the power in the hands of the client in terms of being able to manage their own website. And so we don't make money on that end unless they really want us to. But it's more of the security. Hey, we're going to make sure that your website stays up. It's got backups that we can fall back on. It's got uptime monitoring, all that stuff. And that's kind of where we try to focus, especially if we're not hosting it. If somebody else is hosting it, it's more important for us to have that because we don't know their server setup necessarily from the beginning, and a lot of times the client doesn't either. They're just buying something that was maybe recommended to them. And so we might have to go in and say, hey, we need to up these settings a little bit or whatever. But yeah.
That's awesome. So question to kind of close us out today, who would you recommend Cloudways for? And you can answer that both for end business owners that that would like the platform based on your experience with your clients, but also what types of agency owners would be a great fit for the Cloudways platform.
Yeah, agency owners make a lot of sense, just especially if you need to scale your business, I think. Just again, because of the ease of use of it to be able to scale and quickly spin up servers. It just makes a lot of sense for agencies, but I've also recommended them to friends who are just starting a business where they're like, hey, where do you think I should host? I saw this commercial for so-and-so hosting. Should I go with them? And I always recommend Cloudways. I just tell them, it's going to be easier for you to manage. It's going to be more reliable. And then I just show them the case studies, between whatever host that they, saw a commercial for and the one that I've done, versus Cloudways. And the difference is just night and day, especially when they're starting out. So I don't think the size of business matters as much, although agencies are going to see that bigger return on their investment for going with Cloudways. But I just think it works for any website, man.
Awesome. And Jaime, what do you think, man? Who would you recommend Cloudways for?
I fully agree with you, Alex. There, I think whether you're just a consumer and you just need a stable platform for your website, Cloudways is the way to go. If you're a new agency, again, the right balance of security, complexity, transparency, and then having a roadmap for scaling, right, with using the more fancier tools like the APIs and so on, like what Alex is doing, which is slick. You're covered, from basically with all stages, right? So if you're in the beginning stages, the growth stage, or the scaling stage, you're covered as an agency or a consumer for sure.
Alex, I'm curious, man. What are some of those? Are you looking at other workflows to automate with the API and with Cloudways right now?
I'm always looking for more ways to automate, man. 100%. That's kind of as far as we've gotten, and I'm still developing that system. I've kind of used it on a couple manually. The goal is to eventually get it to where we come in and we just click approve and everything goes out. But yeah, I'm always looking for more ways to be able to spin stuff up and to just reduce the human bottleneck, because in so many businesses, especially again, being a lean business, a business of one, I'm my own bottleneck in my business. Whatever I can get done is what I can get done. So anything I can automate just makes life easier. So if I can find more instances or ways in the API to do stuff, I'm absolutely going to take advantage of it.
Awesome, man. Well, good luck identifying those bottlenecks. And if there's anything that you come across where you're like, man, if there was just this one little thing connected, we'd love to see that,
Sure.
Get that feedback, man. So if we can incorporate that into the product or make some of those time-saving workflows work even better, I think that's something that Cloudways is all about. So I want to thank you both for hanging out with us today. Amazing insights on Cloudways, amazing insights on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. You got a little audience out there giving you some cheers and roars, man. So Alex, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Jaime, thanks for taking the time to jam with us today, man. Appreciate you both. And best of luck with your Black Friday, Cyber Monday rushes. Hopefully you don't get too many last-minute client asks the day after Thanksgiving. Oh, wait, what? This is Black Friday? I need to do an update on my website, right? But there'll always be that one. There'll always be that one, right?
No rest for the weary, Brent.
so Jaime, man, good luck with your four kiddos, and Alex with your newborn, man. Guys, thanks again for being here today.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, so folks out there, we're wrapping up this session today, but stay tuned. In just about 10 minutes, we've got an amazing session coming up with branding and marketing expert Dennis Yu. We're going to be talking about content strategy to build trust and get high conversions during the sales season. And Dennis Yu is a total rock star. So I'll be back with you guys in about 10 minutes. So stay tuned for more great content coming to you for the 2021 Black Friday Cyber Monday Cloudways Prepathon. That is it for this session. We'll see you soon. Bye, guys.